Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. So I have my co-host here, Alicia, Hughes, and my name is Hussain, and this is Ask Us Anything about local SEO. So we are so excited to do this, and we are excited to have you here. How are you doing, Alicia?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
I'm all right. I haven't had coffee. I wish I had some coffee in me like you do.
I had it's a new flavor seasonal thing, the iced Dunkin' Latte.
Oh,
Holy crap, is it good?
that sounds really good. I used to love coffee, but I have issues with acid reflux, so now it's just iced tea all
You
day.
know, I can't drink hot coffee because of my stomach, but iced, I'm okay with.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realize that could make a difference. So next time we do this, it'll be iced coffee. Maybe I'll test it. So let's jump into today's agenda. Today we're going to discuss Google business profiles, local website SEO, and social media. And then we're going to open up the floor for any questions that y'all might have. And we're trying to keep this informative, but sort of foundational and basic so that anybody can go out there and take some action and, get some love from Google out there.
hmm
Let's start with Alicia. Let's do your introduction, Alicia.
Sure. I started in local SEO in January 2013. I've always focused on local, with I'm especially fond of the map pack. I personally love the legal niche, which I know a lot of people don't necessarily enjoy lawyers, but my background before marketing was 25 years as a bodily injury litigation adjuster in the insurance industry. So basically, I got paid to fight with lawyers all day. So I enjoy working with them. I also have done a bit of home services, landscapers, local restaurants. All of those niches do very well in the map pack.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's about it. And you, Moon?
Yeah, so there's me with my coffee that I've had to give up, unlike Alicia over here. So my name is Moon Hussain, and I've been in the industry since I graduated college about 2007 or 8, and I actually graduated with a degree in computer science and got hired as a programmer with the school industry. And I had so much spare time after I would handle like my tasks for work. I was just learning about how to make websites online and what SEO was and all of this stuff, right? And then soon after that, I got clients. But yeah, I have about 15 to 16 years of experience in the local SEO space, and I love playing with algorithms. So that's not just SEO and Google, that extends into social media as well. And I have experience in various niches over the years. I've taken on clients in HVAC, heating, ventilation, AC, real estate, plumbing, roofing, landscaping, veterinary hospital, mobile pet grooming, and then physical location for pet grooming as well. So Alicia's gonna go over the Google business profile optimization. So you just let me know when you want me to turn the slides, Alicia.
Okay. So originally, all of the folks who had responded, like 98% of the attendees were going to be like do-it-yourself business owners.
Yeah.
So, again, to piggyback off what Moon said, this wasn't really intended today to like teach people how to do this as an instructional, more like just give information that any do-it-yourselfer should be able to follow along regardless of technical abilities. So I apologize, like some of y'all are SEOs and this may be pretty basic for you. But we wanted to be able to include people from any level of experience, from the business owner doing it themselves to seasoned SEOs. And it's just a real cursory glance, and then we'll get into the Q&As and get into the deeper stuff. So the Google Business Profile, for anybody who's not familiar with it, it's a free directory listing that Google gives. And if you've ever searched for a local business, like a restaurant or local attraction, and you see the Google map followed by 3 business listings directly below that generally show the name, phone number, reviews, and some photos, those top 3 listings are pulled from the Google Business Profile. So they're built to convert, they're at the top of the search engine results, and it's really the most sought after real estate on the search results page. So having the Google Business Profile is essential to getting that spot. And to qualify for a business profile, you need to be a local business, which is defined with serving customers within a 2-hour radius. And you either need to service those customers at your physical location or at your customer's location. A lot of people who will be listening to this recording are going to be cat breeders who I'm associated with. And there's a lot of safety issues that come up. They don't want their physical address to show because litters have been stolen. Breeders have actually been murdered for their puppies and kittens. So
That's
you can, it's crazy. Like, you would not believe how much drama there is in the cat breeding world. But you can still have a profile and not display your address publicly. You will need to put in an address just for verification purposes, but it will not be public facing. So you can still get this benefit without having to compromise your safety.
right.
When you do create the profile, you want to be certain to complete all of the relevant fields. so that you don't get either dinged for incomplete profile or low quality score or potentially get suspended. You want to make certain to select the applicable business category or multiple categories that pertain to your business without overreaching. So your primary category would be your main operation, and then if you do have any secondary operations, you can add those in as additional categories. But you don't want to stretch too far. From your category, Google is going to pre-fill the services that it expects to see of that category, and you need to go through and edit those, take out any that maybe you don't offer, add in any manually that you do offer that Google hasn't put in the list, and then fill out the service description or the product descriptions, because that's a great way to add more keywords that you could potentially be ranking for. Can you switch slides, please?
Yep.
So once you complete the profile, you will have to verify it, which is a 30-second video upload, which again is not public facing. It just goes to Google support, so there's nothing there to compromise your safety. Once it is verified and is live, then you want to start creating some engagements. So you can post to the Google business profile, and these are just little 270 character um, uh, posts that contain either a photo or a video. You can talk about anything you want. It could be a local event, some kind of offer or
Sorry.
announcement. No problem.
Wild. Sorry about that.
But you do want to have some type of call to action, either a learn more or call now or a book now with a link back to your website, um, so that you get that traffic from your Google business profile to your website and create that engagement. And as a general rule of thumb, I like to follow the 80-20 rule. So nobody wants to be constantly sales pitched. So 80% of your post should be something just fun and engaging. For cat breeders, put pictures of kittens. Who doesn't want to see kittens all day long? Yeah, if you're in a niche that's very visual, like restaurants, put up pictures of food. Everybody loves food.
Yeah.
Health and beauty, also very visual. So you can put up all kinds of stuff that still brings brand awareness and gets people's attention without always having to sell them. So 80% of the time should be something just fun and engaging or informative. 20% of the time, sales pitch.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good ratio you have right there, the 80-20 rule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything more than that and people start getting turned off.
Yeah.
So, and along with that, adding photos and videos regularly shows Google that you are maintaining the profile. It also helps when people look. If you've ever pulled up a business and looked at it, and the last photo that was uploaded was like 4 years ago, you don't know. So viewers want to see something that's current on there. Google wants to see something that's current on there.
Yeah.
So spend a little bit of time, keep up with your photos. Not necessarily have to do videos, but if you do, they're only super brief ones that get uploaded, like 30 seconds or less. Anything more than that is going to be over their size limit.
Yeah. If there's a Google business profile with like older photos, do you recommend leaving them there while they put new ones up, or should they just delete the old stuff and update with new pictures? Are you there, Alicia?
Oh, sorry about that. I got disconnected for a minute.
It's okay. Were you able to hear my question?
Nope.
Okay, so I was asking if a GBP has old like pictures. Obviously, they should put up some new pictures, but should they get rid of the old pictures completely or just leave them there?
If they are still relevant, I would leave them.
Okay, fair enough.
And if they were posted by a third party, you won't be able to delete them anyway.
Right, right.
So it's only if you are the owner and you posted them a while back, then you will still have the option to delete them. But I really wouldn't worry about deleting them unless they're completely irrelevant to your business now.
Mm-hmm.
I would just push them down by, suppress them by adding newer stuff.
Yep, excellent advice. Okay. Did you want me to hit next yet?
Please.
Okay.
So the most important part of the Google business profile is the reviews. And this is important for a number of reasons. It's user engagement, which is a ranking signal. So it's also a trust factor and helps build credibility when prospects are looking for a business. So you need to be asking your customers for reviews constantly. Make that the standard protocol for the end of a job or the end of a transaction or a sale. Ask for that review. Also important is to respond to the reviews in a timely manner, good or bad. If it's a good review, you don't need to go crazy. Thanks for taking the time to leave this review. It was a pleasure working with you. Maybe put a keyword in your response. It was a pleasure remodeling your kitchen, or it was a pleasure building your patio, whatever the case may be. Adding a keyword in that in the response is going to potentially help you rank for more keywords.
Yeah, and it's really funny because I mean, a lot of times people think that they should respond to like only negative reviews, but I find that a little silly because you can appear to be very on the ball by responding to positive reviews as well. And it only makes a good impression, right?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of only responding to negative because that kind of looks like you don't care about your customers that were happy.
Right.
You know, the kind of the squeaky wheel where the only time you're going to spend any time or effort is to respond to the person who's pissed off at you. And
Mhm.
that just doesn't set well with me. For as little time as it takes, I mean, you can create 3 or 4 standard answers, save them on a Word doc, and just copy and paste them into your reviews once a week. You know,
Right.
it doesn't have to be a time sink. You know, hire a VA for $5 an hour to go through twice a month or once a week and just respond to reviews. Most businesses don't get that many reviews. This is going to take a whole lot of time. You know, you're probably talking about 5 to 10 minutes a week, and it's going to
Yeah.
help your business tremendously.
You can make your coffee. Like you can you can hit start on the coffee maker and go do this real quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what I usually do for my clients is I use ChatGPT, the free version,
Hmm.
and I'll use a prompt like write 20 unique responses to positive reviews for a blank company, whatever their niche is.
Yeah.
And I may even say for a blank company in location. So, like, write 20 review responses to positive reviews for a plumbing company in Hartford, Connecticut. And then I save that Word doc to my customer file. And when I go in and answer reviews, I just copy and paste them. I don't care if I'm using the same reply over
Mhm.
and over again. I try to rotate them so at least they're not the same thing every single time.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be like overly unique in this. Just a few words. Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate your business.
Yeah. How dare you make this sound so simple, Alicia? No.
Because people they shy away from it because it seems like it's going to be tedious, and it
Right.
truly does not need to take more than 5 minutes a week.
Yeah, and it's so impactful. That's why we're taking time on the review section. It's just so impactful for new business to come in as well.
If
Um,
you did nothing else with your GBP,
mhm.
reviews would be the one thing that I would like really drive home.
Yes, absolutely.
And then for negative reviews, there's a couple different scenarios. There's the negative reviews that are bullshit, that are, an ex-employee that's angry with you, or a competitor, or somebody made a mistake and like hit the wrong business. That does happen. A lot of times there's businesses with similar names.
Yeah.
You still want to be professional in your response, but you want to be factually correct too.
Mhm.
So don't be afraid to respond to something like that with, this is a disgruntled ex-employee who is, or, this was an employee who was let go and is angry with the business owner, whatever the case may be. Put your reasoning for, or put your response to the review and then flag it for Google removal. It's at Google's discretion if they will remove it or not. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But
Mhm.
at least if you've put that response in there, when somebody comes along and sees that negative review, your side of the story is captured there too. And when you're writing that response, because it's real easy to want to like slam these people and get really nasty with them,
Yeah.
think that potential prospects are probably going to be reading this response. So temper it accordingly. If it is truly like I've I specialize in the legal niche, which is really sleazy and dirty. And like one of my clients, at least once a month, gets an extortion threat where he'll get
Okay.
messages on WhatsApp for pay me $1,000 or we're going to sabotage your reviews.
Jeez.
So something like that, I go in and I respond, you have never been a client of our firm. However, we have screenshots where you are threatening to extort $1,000 from us or you will sabotage our reviews. And then I flag it for removal. And every single time so far, Google has removed it for me. The other scenario with negative reviews is it is a legitimate customer who had a bad experience. Maybe legitimately so, maybe the customer's perception. We all know the customer's not always right, but you don't want to come out and say that in your Google reviews. Because again, treat it like you think, a prospect is going to be reading that response.
Yeah.
So you want to be sympathetic. We care about our customers. We're so sorry you had a poor experience. Please give us a call. We'd like to do whatever is needed to make this right, offer a coupon, offer a refund, whatever the case may be. So even if Google will not take that down, which a lot of times when it's just bad service or the customer's perception of bad service, Google's not going to usually remove those.
Hmm.
But anybody who is a potential customer who's reading that negative review, it's going to be a lot less negative when they see how much the business owner cared and try to right their wrong.
Yeah. I
So
mean, a lot of times I read bad reviews, but then as soon as I read the response from the business, as long as it's professional, like that negative review almost has no impact on me, if that makes sense. Like I still,
mhm,
if I'm interested in that business for a certain service, then I'll go through with it because I know that they're trying their best to make it right, and that's all anyone can do.
mhm.
Yeah.
When there's a new ish coffee shop and breakfast spot in town, and when I looked at their reviews, they sucked.
Oh,
And then I started reading them, and I saw like for every negative review, the business owner was like, "That was our first day that we opened. You know, we were overwhelmed. We didn't know what to expect. We
mm-hmm.
were unprepared. You know, please give us another chance. We'll give you a free breakfast."
Oh,
So,
wow.
you know, she offered a good explanation why the service sucked. It was their first day.
Yep.
She acknowledged that they weren't prepared, and she offered a very, very fair remedy, a free breakfast.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, and that's human, right? So if people can relate to that, and it's like, okay, I'll check them out anyway.
Yeah, and I did, and they're phenomenal.
Awesome.
um, yeah, so, and I think too, if people see that you have like, you know, a crazy number of perfect 5-star reviews every time, it doesn't look realistic. Because no
Hmm.
matter what you do, you're going to piss somebody off somewhere.
Right,
You
right.
know, so it almost looks too contrived if you don't have a negative review somewhere, where
Hmm.
having a negative review or two makes you look more human and gives you the opportunity to showcase your customer service and your desire to make things right for the customer. So I don't think a negative review is a bad thing. I think of it as an opportunity. But, you know, again, the importance there is asking for the reviews, responding to the reviews, take nothing else away today. That is the key thing.
Yep.
So, and then also with Google Profile, you can use the Google Map and embed it on your website. And what that does is basically connects the dots for Google to say this is the same business here in the Google Business Profile, and this is the same business on this website. It just helps to build your digital footprint, which increases your authority and your credibility in Google's eyes. So that's going to help you rank. If you can go to the next one, please.
Yeah, I like the way you said digital, like connecting the dots, connecting the digital footprint together. So, good point.
All right, for the website, again, keeping this to things that anybody, regardless of technical ability, should be able to do. Content is everything right now, and it has been for years. Google's the last probably 3-4 years, every update has been helpful content update related, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Google wants to serve the best results that answers people's search queries. So having topically relevant, rich content is never going to go out of style. You know, that's going to help you rank today. It's going to future-proof your site down the road and give you a great foundation to keep building on. So I think there's a propensity in SEO world to kind of overcomplicate things a lot.
Yeah.
um, and you know, those of us who do this full time spend a lot of money on tools and stuff. For the person who's just doing this themselves for their own business, or a freelancer just starting up who's not, you know, making a sustainable income on this yet, you don't need to go out and spend money on expensive tools. Google pretty much tells you everything you need to know. So if you're starting a keyword research, the first thing I always do is just search for the search query that makes sense for you. If I'm looking for a plumber for my house, you know, I don't need an expensive tool to tell me how I'm going to search. I'm going to look for plumber Rocky Hill. You know, so I would start by typing in plumber Rocky Hill. Google's going to tell you through auto suggest some variations of that. It's going to tell you in the people also ask section some additional queries that people are using that are common right now. So you're trying to rank on Google. Google's telling you exactly what people are looking for. Don't overcomplicate this. Go with the information Google's giving you. It's right there under your nose. Jot that information down, put it in a spreadsheet. Those are your keywords to focus on. You can always continue to build later, but those should be your jumping off point. And you want to use a lot of different variations of the keywords and synonyms of the keywords, because people aren't always going to search the exact same. So, you know, with my Siberian cat breeder friends, some people will look for Siberian breeder, Siberian cat breeder, Siberian forest cat breeder. So you want to have all of those variations in your headings in your content so that you're not missing out on some search queries and only getting a fraction of what you can be getting traffic to the site. You also don't want to use necessarily cutesy words, like people call cats house panthers. Google doesn't know what the hell a house panther is. If you want to rank for cats, call it a cat. You know, it's okay to put some cutesy words in your content here and there, but you shouldn't be optimizing your site for something that Google doesn't know what it is. Or similarly, you don't want to do alternate spellings, like I wouldn't spell cats Katz, because Google doesn't know what you're talking about, CATS. You do want your content to sound natural, so don't stuff keywords. If it's you read it out loud, if it sounds like it's been written by the love child of Dr. Seuss and Yoda, rein that shit in. Like, get rid of a bunch of those keywords and make it sound much more natural. And using synonyms or variations of the keywords is a good way to make it sound more natural too. Instead of saying the same Siberian cat over and over and over, mix it up with variations. You know, there again, you want to prove that you have experience and authority about the subject. You're going to do that through the quality of your content and answering questions that people ask, which again go back to what you found in your Google search under people also ask. And then look at your top 3 competitors. Put in your top search query that you want to rank for: Siberian cat, cattery, Siberian cat breeder, whatever, plumber, Rocky Hill. Look at the top 3 competitors. Analyze their content. What are they doing? How much content do they have per page? How many times are they putting their keyword in headings? If you're trying to beat those competitors, you need to do what they're doing and do it a little bit better. So again, don't overcomplicate things. All of the answers are right there on Google if you just look for them. Do your research, and you don't need expensive tools.
So you're trying to be better than the best, right?
Right.
Exactly. Cool.
Yep. So next page, and I will turn the techie stuff over to you, Moon.
Okay, and Alicia did a great job covering content, so I'll be covering how to optimize that content, which she's, touched on right here already. So the SEO part, like again, me and Alicia kept it to the basics for this, ask us anything meetup, because that's what we expected the audience to be. So anyways, what you can do is optimize your title tags, and the title tag, the meta title. If you ever looked on the little tab part of the browser of the page that you've got open, you might see some text up there. Well, you can optimize that title tag, and it's a key ranking factor. So definitely include your keyword in there. So if you're a plumber in this area, the area is North Park, then your keyword might be plumber in North Park. So you will want your meta title to be optimized and say plumber in North Park. And try to keep the title under 60 characters, because Google will probably cut it off after that. So short and sweet. Next up are internal links, which are my favorite. So what is an internal link? It's a link from a page or a post on your site to another page or post within your site. So these are contained within your site from one page to another page. All right. And it does a few key things. It helps Google understand the most important pages on your site. And also, it helps Google understand the content better because of the way you're linking to it, because of the words you're using linking to it, right? And it also helps readers navigate the site in a way that you are controlling. So maybe, the reader has a question, and instead of Googling it themselves, you've included a link to another page of your site where that question is answered, right? So it'd be a natural thing for you to link to that resource within your site and keep that person on your website longer. So add reviews or testimonials section as well to your site. Include reviews from Google Business Profile or other platforms directly on the site to build trust and authority. You can, if your website is built with WordPress, there's plugins out there that can help you do this. But basically, it also helps with the conversion rate, right? So if somebody's already on your website checking out your services or products or whatever, and they see a bunch of positive reviews, they're more likely to contact you, right? So definitely add reviews. There they are, Alicia. Reviews are back again. Also, optimize your website to be mobile friendly. So I don't know, compared to like 15 years ago or whatever, people are checking out your websites using their phone browser, their tablets, stuff like that, right? So a lot of people are using their phones to check out your website, and you want to make sure that your website appears cohesive and readable, and that it's just mobile friendly, right? Is there anything you wanted to add to this, Alicia? Okay, I think the mic is off, so.
Nope. That was awesome.
Okay, cool. Okay, so that was that for on-page SEO and your websites, and we're going to move into social media. So social media is a necessary evil. I love it and I hate it, but it can do a lot of good for your business if you know what you're doing. So first, you have to know where your audience lives, right? You have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and God knows what else. But you can use these, if you know where your audience is, you can use these platforms to grow and build your own audience. So what you want to do is include branding on majority of your posts. You want to include a link to your website on majority of the posts as well, because what you're trying to do is get social media traffic to go to your website, right? You're driving traffic to your website from these platforms. Now, this came up before, but you want to follow the 80-20 rule. 80% fun, informative, engaging, 20% sales pitch. Totally okay. And one last thing is engage with your comments, with your followers. And I say this because especially when you're small, like if somebody's taken out the time to leave a comment or ask a question. Like, you want to be responsive. That's how you build bigger followings, right? So always engage with anybody who's leaving a comment or whatever. So I'm going to go a little more in depth with why you should pay attention to social media. Okay, the first reason, it increases website traffic. So I just touched on this, but when you share content on social media, it has the potential to drive significant traffic to your website. So when you drive traffic to your website from social media, Google and other search engines deem your site as valuable and relevant, and that can have a very positive impact on your rankings. The more people visiting and engaging with your content, the more likely Google is to view your site as authoritative. And if it's authoritative, Google wants to serve its searchers, right? It's going to put that website in front of them. Reason number 2, content distribution and visibility. Social media helps amplify your content. When your content is shared across multiple platforms, it increases visibility and the chances of being linked to by other websites. These backlinks, I'm going to put this in layman's terms, but the more quality backlinks you get, right, it has a positive influence on your rankings. It can help you rank better with those backlinks. Number 3, improves content indexing. So just like a library has an index of all the books it has the system, right? So does Google. Just because you've created a website and you've published content doesn't mean that Google has indexed it. And before it can rank it, it has to index it, okay? So search engines crawl popular social media platforms. If your content is getting shared, liked, or commented on frequently, it's more likely to be discovered and indexed faster by search engines. And you definitely want that with so much AI content. Like, people are publishing a lot of content these days and it's not always getting indexed, right? It's taking a long time to get indexed. So social media is another way to do it. Make it a part of your strategy. Social media profiles themselves can appear in search results, improving overall brand visibility. And that's how the big boys and girls do it. And that's how you'll want to do it too. Okay, so we made it to the end and we went over Google business profiles, local website SEO, and social media. So now this is your chance to ask us any questions that you have. So let me see. Okay. So you guys are welcome to unmute yourself. If you have any questions, you're welcome to ask them. If you don't, that's okay too. If you just want to chat, that's cool.
I have a question.
Go for it.
All right. For the Google My Business profile, like, how often would you say that a local business should add posts to it? Google My Business posts.
Alicia, are you there?
Yep, sorry about that. I was muted. So I happen to know you're using GeoBooster. So that's posting for you every time you create a check-in. So like, posting is not really a ranking factor. It is potentially an engagement factor because people will look at your photos. So as long as you're using the GeoBooster app, I don't think you need to go crazy posting elsewhere. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, like my clients, I don't post at all to their GBVs outside of like my lawyers. I'll announce it when they get a great settlement, but I don't spend a whole lot of time just writing posts for the sake of writing posts because it just doesn't bring a lot of value in that regard. I spend most of my time on reviews and answering reviews and working on the website content that will also help the Google Business Profile rank. So for those who don't know what GeoBooster is, it's an app that you can get and you create. They're called moments. They're great for service area businesses. You can take a before and after picture of job sites, and the software will bake the coordinates into the images. It drops a pin on Google Maps to show that you did work in that area, and then you select the category of work that it was from the options that are given to you in the setup. You can put the customer's address or just even the city and state, and you can put a description if you wanted to, which gives you an opportunity to put in more keywords. So, purchase this junk car in Raleigh, North Carolina. You can put in as much detail as you want. You can say for $300. You hit submit, it automatically sends that moment to post to your Google Business profile. It drops the pin on Google Maps. It can display to your website, segmented to the different type of service based on your service pages. And for a premium Zapier or Pabbly account, it can also sync to your Facebook and Instagram. So it's a great way to push a lot of stuff out to social without having it take much time at all. It also kind of reinforces to you as the business owner, or if you're an SEO to your clients, reinforces to get them to take before and after photos, which people love to see. So it's a real easy way to keep fresh content going in. And with that baking in of the coordinates and dropping the Google pins, it's going to help the radius that they can rank in if they use it enough.
Oh, I think I've
Would you
heard of
say
it.
like once? Would you
Go.
say like how often you say use the Geo Booster? Like as far as adding the moments, I'm saying. Like, would you say that's something that you need to add a moment, like one moment a day or one moment a week? What would you say? Because like for smaller
I'd say
business, they may not have they might not have multiple new clients in a day. So that's
I
all
mean,
I'm
you can
just
only do
asking.
what you can do. So even if they have old job site photos, you can still add those as a new moment. You don't have to be physically standing at the location. It's going to read the exit data from where the photo was taken. So it'll still drop the pin at the job site location, even if you're uploading it from your office.
Okay, so how often you say you would recommend?
I mean, there's no exact formula. I would just say for any new pickup you do, post. I have clients who never post. Probably the most aggressive client posts once a week.
Okay.
Yeah, just as a general thumb of rule for posts, like it's not the most important thing on my list, but I recommend like maybe once a week or twice at most. But yeah,
Okay.
It's as
I
far as
got
like how I'm going to allocate my time, it's real low on the totem pole.
right, right.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Somebody wants to enter the room now.
That's one of my Siberian breeders.
Okay, I'll let them in. I think it's Pat.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I just told her jump in. We're just starting the Q&As.
okay, got it, got it. There we go.
Hi, Pat.
There he is. He's connected, but muted. There we go. I wonder, hold on. Somebody's in chat or something.
I don't see anything in chat.
No? Hold on. Oh, maybe I'm just seeing Craig's message now. That's all. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that was from about an hour ago.
Hey, Pat, thanks for joining us.
Hello, how are you guys?
We're
This
good.
is
We
this
just,
is really nice to do this for everybody.
uh, well, thanks for coming over and checking us out. We just went over the presentation, but we have recorded it. So you'll be able to check it out at any time once we distribute it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and we're doing the Q&A right now. We've just had one question, so feel free to ask us any questions you have if you do.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
I got another question if nobody have one. Wait a minute. Nathan unmuted himself. Nathan might have a question.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was wondering what your guys' thoughts on as far as the content on like a homepage and its relation to the Google business profile ranking and categorization of keywords. Does Google really look at that homepage and the content on it to determine ranking on a Google business profile?
Very much so. I've seen it, especially with the lawyers too. Like my rule of thumb for a homepage is it's generally optimized for brand. So my H1 is going to be the business name, but I'm going to have a service section on the homepage, and each one of those service sections are going to align with my categories on Google My Business or Google Business Profile. Sorry, old habits die hard.
Alicia, repeat that again because that's a great, great tip right there.
Your service section on your homepage should first of all, the service title should be H2s, and they should align and marry what's on your Google Business Profile. So if your Google Business Profile says you are a bathroom remodeler, kitchen remodeler, basement remodeler, on your homepage, I want to see those three services verbatim how it is phrased on the Google Business category.
And that part is important, verbatim. I'm
Yes.
emphasizing it on purpose, Alicia. This is
And also that they are H2s. I have literally taken lawyers from like page 5 to top of the SERPs by just changing them from an H3 to an H2. It's that important. I've won clients by betting them that I can get them on page 1 in less than 12 hours, and literally spent 30 seconds making those H2s, and the next day they were on page 1. It is
No,
it's
I can verify that too because I've had like they're not doing it properly, and as soon as you optimize it properly with the H2s, it flies. It freaking flies. That's how easy it is.
yeah. So then to take that one step further, Your homepage is going to have all of your services as H2s. When you get to your individual service pages, then each of those titles becomes your H1 on the service page.
Yep.
So if bathroom remodeling contractor is the Google business category that Google gives you, that Google recognizes, that's going to be an H2 on your homepage, and now that's going to be an H1 on your bathroom remodeling page. And then you can go ahead and put variations of that and LSIs and such in your subheadings, but you want your main title to be that exact verbatim category.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one that people often get wrong.
Yeah.
It's fun to see because my work is reduced. You know what I mean? Like, it's such an easy thing to fix.
Yep, I love seeing when that's wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
I know I could spend like 5 minutes or less and make a big impact.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a very large site or a very complex site.
Mm-hmm.
I like to give my clients like as much upfront as I possibly can. So I'm prioritizing my work that's going to get them ROI the fastest.
Right.
If I'm slam busy with other client work and I take on a new client and I could spend 5 minutes optimizing their title tags and get them movement, then they're happy. I've bought myself a little bit of time so before I have to really dig in and spend hours and hours on their site. So it's a very quick victory, and it's a great opportunity to come out looking like a hero.
It is. If you can get them results fast, there's nothing better than that, right? Like, to hook them in. So yeah, this is one of those things.
And it's white hat. You're doing nothing to deceive Google. You're just giving Google exactly what Google wants to see. So you're not jeopardizing the client in any way. You're just doing things the right way.
Yeah, and this all relates back to what Alicia went over with a hierarchy, right? Following a hierarchy and getting your category names verbatim right. Like, boom, connect those dots. Good question, Nathan, by the way.
You made me give up my gold nugget, though.
Question.
Make her give up some more. Let's go.
It's been like one of my best kept secrets for years.
More.
I had a question off of that. I know that you said that Google recognizes the service categories. So does it hurt us like for mine, some of the services are not recognized, like it doesn't automatically populate when you put in the services under Google My Business. So does it not have the same weight or same effect when I have to like basically tell it what the service is and write it in myself versus Google automatically populating it?
You are unique. You're one of those like it's an I don't want to say it's an odd niche because it's not unusual, but it's not one that Google has a whole lot of information about. And even like when we looked at your competitors, there were multiple different primary categories that people were setting themselves up as.
Yeah.
We had like auto broker, tow company,
that is
junkyard.
Yeah.
So if it is a category that Google already recognizes, I think you're going to get more results from that than if it's something you have to type in yourself. But that's not I wouldn't skimp on putting the services in the profile though, because all that content is containing keywords that you can potentially rank for. And just because Google doesn't necessarily have the exact description as a category that they recognize doesn't mean that's not what your audience is searching for.
Right. That's an important point too. Doesn't mean that your audience isn't searching for. So yeah.
So like a lot of her competitors, for those of you who weren't on initially, she has a like junk car buying business. A lot of her competitors use tow company as their primary category because there is a tow truck that comes and picks up the junk. But to me, like I personally, if I was looking for somebody to buy my junk car, I wouldn't look for a tow company. To me, that's I'm stuck on the side of the road and I need a tow truck to come save me.
That's a confusing one.
So you have to, in your case, you have to also think about search intent. It's tow company, what people are going to type in if they're looking for somebody to buy their junk car. Probably not. Is it a bad category? No, because there is a towing company involved in the transaction. So I wouldn't say it's wrong. I just wouldn't say it's necessarily the best.
Right.
But you also don't have a category that fits perfectly either.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you.
This is really funny. Yesterday, I was doing some keyword research and like I Googled AC repair or something along those lines in San Diego, right? And so I'm going through the listings that show up locally, right? And the first two are fine. The third one made my eyes pop out. It was like an auto shop. And I'm like, how is an auto shop ranking for AC repair services? and I look at the category and it said something like air conditioning or something like that. I don't know if they got it that wrong or what happened in between, but this is just a random little thing that just made me chuckle last night.
Probably got the content written by my former employer who doesn't know the difference between a sump pump, a water pump, and a fuel pump.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was just like, this is so wrong. Like, it has to be like a thoughtless mistake type of thing. I don't know, but that's funny.
It's really frustrating when you see that, though. It's like, I'm working my butt off to rank for this term, and then this person, like, basically makes a typo and beats me.
I'd be pissed if I was number 4 or 5. I was like, it right in the title says it's an auto shop, for God's sake. Like, sometimes Google is so smart, but at other times it's so dumb too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Because you have all these other optimized listings that, are all about AC repair.
Well,
But
I mean, we see Google's intelligence or lack thereof
yeah.
in when they kill reviews, too. I mean, I've had a lawyer who, a competitor's site, a competitor's profile rather, who got like 2,500 reviews in one weekend, and they're a law firm in Maryland, and they're getting reviews from the Middle East, and some of the reviews are like best pizza I ever had. Google leaves that shit up,
That's
and then like kills the legitimate reviews that actually were real clients.
Oh, that's terrible. That's horrible. And 2,500 reviews, like, how natural.
I know. I mean, Google tells you they look for natural flow, and anything that looks unnatural will raise red flags and everything. But then in the real world, you see what goes on, and you're like, yeah, what Google says and what Google does are not always the same.
They're not aligned. Like, a lot of times they're not aligned. Like, yeah. So,
And that's why I don't mind sometimes pushing the envelope, because if Google's not going to play by their own rules, I'm not going to either.
oh, I like it. I like that. We'll give it a couple more minutes, and if nobody else has questions, then we'll end the recording. And I mean, thanks everyone for coming.
Can I get one more quick question?
You
Yeah,
bet.
When Google scans the sites and they spam a bunch of services under GBP, do you go in there and clean that out, or do you just kind of at a certain point just let it do it and just it is what it is?
You clean them out. And my thought on that is, if it's a service, if Google is adding in a service that my client doesn't truly offer, then that's not going to really create good user engagement, because those users are going to bounce right away, and it's going to create calls to my client that they can't service, and they're going to get annoyed. So I try to keep my list of services factually correct for what my clients actually do offer. I don't know, do you do that as well, or do you let Google associate whatever they think belongs in that category? Did we lose Moon?
I think so.
Zoom's been a little bit glitchy today. So on the flip side to that too, like if you have services that are in your Google business profile and you have no content about those services on your website, you're probably not going to rank very highly for those services unless they're really low hanging fruit.
That makes sense.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, some people said that you should be like hyper focused on there, and so I was just curious what your thoughts were. It sounds like you kind of agree with that in a sense. So
I do, and I also, when I add my descriptions, I like to put in keyword variations and do some geo-targeting. I don't go over the top with it, but if it's a plumber and there's 40 different services that they offer, I'll probably in like 15 out of the 40, I may put a city name. But if you go too overboard with that, you can potentially get suspended. Oh, Moonswitch is going in and out with audio.
Okay. How important would you say blogging is for local businesses to do? Like, is something you would say do heavily, or?
It depends. And I love and hate that answer. I mean, it pretty much could answer any SEO question ever. But it truly does depend. I mean, there comes like having fresh content added to your website on a regular basis is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Usually services would be my top priority, but obviously there's only so many services that the business offers. At some point you're going to reach the end there. And then after services, I start on location pages. So I want to start building out that radius that they could potentially rank in. Again, at some point you're going to max out how far you could realistically stretch that without opening up another GBP. The beautiful thing about blogs is You generally want to use them to rank long tail keywords that are going to be easy and fast to rank. So your service pages are targeting your money words. They're short tail. They are going to have a much higher search volume. They're going to be much more competitive. So, bathroom plumbing, kitchen plumbing. Now you can use blog posts, how to unclog a toilet. That's a much longer search query. It's going to be much easier to rank for. It's going to answer users' questions. So you hope to get traffic coming to that blog post. And then from that blog post, like Moon was talking about internal links, one way to think about internal links from the user side is you want to kind of shepherd them to the path you want them to take. So you have your person who comes in as a do-it-yourself question, how do I unclog my toilet? Some percentage of those people are going to fail, and they're going to need professional service. So you want to link from that page to your bathroom plumbing page or to your toilet plumbing page. So now you're showing them, we offer this service when your do-it-yourself attempt fails. And then from that service page, you want an easy call to action, a click to call, a book online. So you don't want your viewer to have to go on a scavenger hunt to try to find how to reach you. You want to shepherd them the whole way.
Yeah, Alicia gave a perfect answer. Sorry, there was a lot of noise here and the audio was going in and out earlier, so sorry about that. But Alicia is coming in hot with this. I generally think that blogging is good for local sites as long as you don't cause, and this is going to get a little too technical, and I don't want it to like keyword cannibalization as a concept. But what Alicia said, if you're doing blogging, you want to do more long tail keywords. And point them to your services so that if that small percentage cannot unclog their toilets, they can call you. In general, as long as you have something to write about, I think it's a good idea to blog away. You can rank for more relevant keywords, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And in addition to keyword cannibalization, the other concern is at some point you start running low on topics. You don't want to start going off into the woods somewhere because then you dilute your topical relevancy.
Yeah, you want to keep it very relevant to what you're offering, what your site is about. Like, don't write just to write and start extending into like sister topics. We don't want to do that.
Right. Like I love this story because I hate this man so much. He's a criminal defense lawyer in Vegas, and he had 40 pages on his website about the PSI of every dog breed's mouth. Like how strong a dog's bite is. And he was so proud because his site had like 4,000 clicks a month. And I'm looking at his GFC, and his top 1,000 search queries all have to do with like the strength of a dog bite. And I'm trying to explain to him that none of these people are looking for a criminal attorney. This is just a vanity metric for you. You have 4,000 people coming to your site, and you got 0 clients coming from them.
That's fair. No, that's a great example. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to know, what did he ever explain what his thought process was behind like writing about dog bites and stuff?
He's an egomaniac and a dick. That's his only excuse.
Okay, then. But no, that's a great example, because what do dog bites have to do with somebody wanting a criminal injury lawyer? Sorry, one sec, my cat's doing something. But keep on going, you guys. Keep on going.
Yeah, so that's definitely like, if he was a personal injury lawyer, you can maybe have a page or two about dog bites because that actually is a valid type of personal injury. But if you're a criminal attorney and his main claim is DUI defense, why do you want 40 pages about dog bites? He completely, DUI attorney is a very competitive term. Believe it or not, the PSI of dog jaws are not competitive terms. So that's all he was ranking for.
Oh my God, he should have just written like had a separate blog for like affiliate or ads or something like that if he was going to just go off on a tangent like that. That's a whole
I wondered if he was trying to deal with the part about keeping fresh content, because like if you don't want to go into sister topics, then how do you keep fresh content? Because we talked about the service pages. You're only going to have but so many, depending on the business. You're only going to have but so many. You're going to run out of service pages. So that's done. Then you got blogs left.
So you can repurpose your content. You don't always have to be producing brand new blog posts. If you got some old stuff on there, you can just edit them, freshen them up a little bit, and republish them, and it's fresh content.
Yeah, so
that's fresh content.
Yeah, because it's been.
Go ahead, you want to explain it?
Go ahead, Alicia. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Moon.
No, I was just saying that like years ago you could get away with writing sister topics, but like Alicia, I think, touched on this, the helpful content update early on. Content is playing a huge part, and you don't want to dilute it by talking about sister topics, right? So if you run out of blog topics, like you've truly just ran out, you can start editing, like Alicia said, like older either blogs or service pages or location pages, because people this was a thing, like people just want to publish new content and never want to go back and update their old content that might need updating, right? So Google's putting a lot more emphasis on quality content versus having a quantity of content at this point. So yeah, I'm with Alicia here that if you run out of blog topics, and start looking at your site and saying, okay, is there anything here that needs updating? Did I make posts or pages that are 5 years old or 3 years old and they might need some sprucing up? So I would go that route at that point.
She
Even if
does
the
have
blog posts have
really
dates.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. What was that?
Oh yeah, I was saying even though the blog posts have dates, because like let's say you did one January 1st, 2023. Well, you go in there, you edit it a little bit. It's the same content, but you edit it a little bit. But the date still says 2023.
You can update the date when you do publish now. You can manually update the date.
Does that change the link of the post link? Because you might already have that link out there in the world. Does it change it and break the old link?
Yours do not have the dates in the link, so it shouldn't do anything.
But Google will look at it as fresh content because you changed some stuff on it.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Google's smart enough to
Is
know.
that a certain amount of stuff? Like I'm thinking like you can't go in there and just change like this word said and or there and I'm gonna put they are, like, you know what I mean? Like, is it like, hey, you need to change at least half of this page for it to be fresh content?
I don't think it's very formulaic. I mean, I've actually just not changed anything at all and republished, as long as everything is still factually correct. Because sometimes, like, the nature of some content, it might be date sensitive, and if people do see the published date in the search results, I'm trying to think of an example here. Like, say I was looking for, let's say, tax information, which changes every year. If I see a post that's dated 2020, I don't know that tax information is still relevant today. Yeah. But if it is, and the author has updated the date, and now it says 2024, I'm much more likely to click on it and read that than if I don't know that it was updated or not. So as long as the information is still relevant and hasn't changed, you really don't need to like edit any of it other than the published date.
Yeah, certain niches are more time sensitive, like medical stuff like that. So you'd want to refresh the date on that. You want to refresh the content if something has changed, like when it comes to that medical thing, thingamajiggy, whatever I'm trying to say. But Alicia gave a great example right here for sure.
She has a really tough niche though, like deceptively tough. When we were trying to come up,
I know, right? It's deceiving. It would seem like so simple, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a straightforward niche, but when it comes down to writing content, like, it's a simple process. How much can you say about selling a junk car?
Right. That's what I'm like. That's why when you said, what you explained about refreshing the content, because I did not know that that's what you meant. All these times I've heard you say that term before in our talking, because I was thinking like, man, I'm going to run out after like a month. I'm going to run out of content. Like, what the heck? Because remember on my other side, I was messing up. I was doing the sister content because I didn't know any better before I met you. I'm saying, and that's what I was running into. Like, I'm going to run out of stuff to say. So I got to talk about something that, might kind of be related, but not really type situation. So this is good information for me.
Yeah, that used to work a few years ago. I mean, I could go on forever with blogging by going into sister industries, and like it worked well. But then these stupid updates by Google came and then really penalized these sites. So that's a big no-no. You want to keep a tight topic, like you want to keep it topically tight, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Stay, as they say, like if someone's talking, like stay on topic, don't veer off into the woods and all that stuff. Yeah, that does make sense.
And good things do not happen in the woods. So.
One thing that you can do, if there's something that you feel that your audience would benefit from and would be interested in, you do have the option to no index a page or a post on your site. So you could, like, if you were going to go off in the woods a little bit, you can set that page or post to no index. If it is no index, it's basically invisible to Google. So you'd have to promote that page either through like your social media, or you can do like a Google business profile post with a link to it to get traffic to it. But that's kind of a compromise way where you can get really good information to your audience without necessarily jeopardizing the topical relevancy of your website.
So basically it doesn't add any value to your ranking. But it allows you to be able to get some information out there to your customers and still use the same platform that using for
Right.
your website.
If I was
Okay.
doing something like that, my intent would be that this is such great content that people are going to read it. They're going to follow the internal links to my service pages. Like, you still want it ultimately to end in a conversion, right? So you want to put like some fabulous content out there, and then that's going to get people basically into your website and hope that you shepherd them to a service page and then to a call to action.
That makes sense. I see what you're saying. I'm flowing with that. Makes sense.
It's all about, if you think about your website as basically a sales funnel, because that's essentially all it is.
Yeah,
You know, you're
that's true.
giving people all the steps that they need to work their way from the top of the funnel to the call to action at the bottom of the funnel. People are coming in at different levels of that funnel. Somebody might be coming in already knowing that you're the plumber in Rocky Hill that they want to work with. They may just go straight to the contact page and that's it. Or you may have somebody who doesn't even know any plumbers in Rocky Hill, so they're starting out at the basics and looking for, using Google to look through the reviews to see who they want to work with. They're going to come in through your homepage, learn a little bit about your company, go to a service page, see if you offer the service they're looking for, then move to a call to action to call or email you. If you get people coming in on a blog post, they're more than likely asking a question that your content provides an answer to, and then you want to shepherd them through your site to ultimately get to that sale. So they're starting, somebody comes in on a blog post is like really, really high top of the sales funnel, versus somebody who comes in on a service page is almost at the bottom of the sales funnel.
Yeah, that makes sense. I see what you're saying. That makes sense. When you guys are refreshing your pages, is that something that you guys like make a habit to do? Like like, oh, just refresh it like maybe once a month or something like that, or does it depend on how competitive the niche is?
Definitely for
Determine
me,
how
it depends on how competitive it is. Like, if it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it. So when I'm going in and looking at my ranking reports, if the page is ranking well and it's getting consistent traffic or traffic is improving, if it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it.
Makes sense.
Can I ask one final question?
Yes.
Go for it.
If you had, like, let's say you built a new site for a client and the site's optimized on page as far as it can go, and you had like a $500 to $1,000 like link budget to get them started, and this might be the only link budget they have, like, where would you allocate that? Would you spend it on directories? Would you go on like RO outreach? Like, where would you put that $500 to $1,000 to get them off to a good start?
Is this a brand new domain or a brand new website?
It pretty much, it's a maybe a domain a year and a half old. The site is just kind of sat around. It's been built, and optimized. So it's a pretty new site. It's not ranking for really anything. It has 0 backlinks. They're just trying to bring this thing to life.
I like, for cheap and easy, Marketer Center. I usually do they call it the big citations, which are the data aggregators in the top level directories. And then I also usually do a 40 pack of local. And I don't know the exact breakdown, but for those 2 packages, it comes out to $69.99. It ends up being about 100 links. So that's something that's very, very budget friendly for any local business. Like, if a local business can't afford $69.99, they probably aren't going to stay in business very long. And then Moon is probably more well versed with backlinks outside of citations than what I do. So I'm gonna let you jump in there.
I think with local sites, like you said, citations and directories are a good idea. Maybe some PR package might work. That's a good idea. The thing with like having a smaller budget is like there's backlinks you can get. You'd probably end up with like niche edits, what they call niche edits, right? The thing with those is that they're not always quality backlinks. A lot of times they're not. But if you have $1,000, you can go that route. But I wouldn't put it before citations and directories, if I'm being honest with you. To me, those are the foundational things. And then I would go further away with PR and maybe niche edits or something along those lines. Or outreach would be awesome, but it might require a bigger budget, right? And yeah, so
Neither one of us are huge
backlinking.
advocates of backlinks.
Yeah.
If you're in our groups, you know that. Like, we were probably the first 2 people in the SEO space who were like, you don't need backlinks to rank. And all of the bros were like, oh, that's cute. Go away, little ladies.
Yeah. I mean, it can still be that way. You can still see it. But if you've done good on page and you give it a little bit of backlinking love, if it's like medium to high competition, you're gonna be fine. You'll probably rank well. But yeah, like I said, I think Alicia is on the same page with citations, directories, that kind of thing for local, especially. With niche edits, that's the thing with building links is like a lot of times you want to be careful. And then if you want link building done right, it just requires a much higher budget. So I tend to focus on the foundational stuff over here, which has always gotten me results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the data aggregators are going to push the NAP out to thousands and thousands of other sources. So you're really getting a huge bang for your buck if you go with the data aggregators for one. And, that's like $30. So 30 or 40. Again, I don't know the exact breakdown between the two. I just know it's $69.99 when I order both.
And this is on, you said Marketing Center? Is that what you called it?
Marketers Center.
Marketers Center. Okay, cool. Thank you.
It's the big citations, the data aggregators, and the top level directories. And then I usually do a 40 pack of local, and they always over deliver. If I order 40, I get 50.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, everybody's on the people I work with are like on extreme budgets. So yeah, that's definitely really great. Something I could at least get them, some kind of backlink. My understanding with the backlinks is like you kind of need some because you need some authority so that they'll push out your blog posts. I don't know if that's true. That's just something I heard. So that's why I was like, well, maybe you should get some backlinks. Maybe not. I'm not saying drop 5-10 grand, but just something to get them going. But I definitely agree with the on-page thing. That's what the lion's share of the work was dedicated to. So.
Yeah, I
Appreciate
mean, there's some nifty ways of doing things like with blog posts. If you're going to do blog posts, right, you can do keyword research and see if you can find like long tails that are low competition. And usually they don't require anything other than very late optimization and maybe a couple of internal links, and you'll rank for those. It just depends what niche you're in, but I tend to lean towards long tails for blogging mostly. Maybe a little bit of medium competition, but yeah. And also these sites, like if they've aged, sometimes they can acquire backlinks on their own. Don't ask me how, but I've had clients, who come to me specifically for on page and I'll ask, hey, did you build all these links? And they're like, no, I didn't pay for these. So over time, I don't know, like they just acquire links. And sometimes they're very quality links too. I don't know if you want to say something about that, Alicia.
Sometimes those links could actually be from like a prior owner to that domain.
Yeah.
Like if it's, joesplumbing.com and your guy bought it a year ago, but prior to your guy, another Joe's Plumbing had a website on there for 10 years, then that site probably had backlinks and your guy just had the good fortune to buy a domain name that was already established and had some love already.
There
That
you
can
go.
work against you too. I had a company that sold hammocks that bought a domain that previously belonged to a porn site. Those links were not good.
No, you don't want porn links.
It's like, yeah, wow. It took a while to figure out why they couldn't rank, and then I went back in the Wayback Machine. I was like, oh,
Like,
wow,
oh,
that's not our website. Those aren't hammocks.
oh God. Yowzer. Yeah,
There's, I mean, that it's rare that happens, but it's not unheard of.
yeah, yeah.
The
But
other thing to be careful of too when you are spending money on links is rank brain does not still exist. So if you use that term in an SEO group, people are going to laugh at you. But for the sake of explaining it, it's the easiest way still. So I still use it. Like if you have, let's say you have a blog post about how to unclog your toilet. I don't know why I'm obsessed with toilets
I know
today,
now you got me going on it.
but you'd be amazed how much search volume there is for that. I'll tell you though, my plumbers, that's like their number one search query is how to unclog my toilet. So maybe that's why it's on my brain.
Yeah.
But let's say you have a blog post about how to unclog, 5 ways to unclog my toilet at home. And now you've got a backlink going to that page. That backlink basically hits your page. We're going to call it with 100% SEO juice. For every internal link you have coming off of that blog post to another page, you are cutting into that SEO juice. So if you've got 100% coming into the blog post and now you've got 20 links from that blog going to a bunch of pages on your website, each one of those internal links now only has like 5% of that link juice because you keep every internal link dilutes it further. So
Yeah.
you could, like my attorney with the dog bite, he had over 200 internal links on every page of his website. He'd spent 6 figures on backlinks. And what I explained to him is you're coming in with a fire hydrant on your service pages, and by the time they get through your 200 internal links, you got an eyedropper. Like you're just throwing money out the door because those backlinks are not maintaining their weight. You've completely invalidated any amount of authority that backlink had. So when you are looking to purchase back, I'm sorry, what?
He's bleeding it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can get fewer backlinks than your competition and still use them more wisely than your competition does. So it's not really a numbers game per se. You can
Right.
also get better quality backlinks than what your competitors have. You might only need 3 backlinks to beat your competitor who has 300, depending on the quality and if they are used properly and if they're not diluted. So, the other thing too is like backlinks are out of your control. You can spend a lot of money on backlinks, and then if the website where that link is coming from decides to kill your link, it's gone.
Yep. And that's what I want to say is that's why I've always loved on-page SEO. Everything's in your control. You know what I mean? It's in your control. You can influence your rankings directly. Whereas a lot of people buy backlinks, I guess it's the game now, right? Like if you want backlinks from a high authority site or whatever, but they could erase it in 6 months. Their domain name could expire. They might not renew it. Somebody could build a porn site on it later on down the road. I don't know, but that's why I've always loved on-site SEO. That's a little bit of a tangent, but yeah.
And there's multiple ways to, I hate the phrase skin a cat, but
I do too. Yeah.
like there are people, I would say when both of us, Moon and I both first started in SEO, kind of the norm back then was you had a lot of people who were basically sales guys who didn't do technical work, who
Yeah.
would spend $50 on a site from Upwork or Fiverr or one of those. They'd buy content from some third world country that's not written in English for a penny a word, and the quality of the site was absolute garbage,
Yeah.
and they just throw backlinks at it, and back then that would rank a site. And then the more Google has focused on helpful content, I won't say those sites won't rank, because you will occasionally still stumble across one that's doing well and you just shake your head. It shouldn't be doing well.
Mm-hmm.
But with the way that we focus on page, you're never going to be wrong for having a good foundation. So having a solid website, having great content, you're not going to need as much off page as you would if you were starting with a pile of poop.
Well, that was well said. It's true though. It's like the foundation of a house. Like you can't mess that up because
Right.
you mess that up, that house is gonna come crashing down no matter what you do. So we like to build up the foundation very well before we explore anything else.
Yes. And especially for clients who are on a budget, like SEO, on-page SEO, if they're paying somebody to do it, that's their only expense. If they're doing it themselves,
Oh,
you can't ask for a cheaper way to increase your online presence.
you really can't. Absolutely. Like it's budget friendly. Even if you had to build links, you would end up spending less having done on page and squeezing the juice out of that well first. So yeah.
I can talk about this stuff all day. Who else has
I know. Me too. We might be out of questions. We'll give it another minute and then I've got to make sure that this recording gets saved because the Q&A is very juicy. I'm going to grab some
You
water.
guys are bringing some great questions today.
Yes, we have. Absolutely.
Quick question again. The physical location of your blog, do you guys create a whole little blog section, or have you ever put your actual blogs on the bottom of those service pages? So the dog bite, let's say that was a personal injury attorney, he has a dog bite service page. Would you ever put those blog posts at the bottom of that service page?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I might not put the entire blog there just for user experience, because that could be a lot of scrolling if they are going to blog aggressively. But I would put like featured blog and maybe put like the top 4 or 5 posts there with a read more that goes to a dedicated blog page or category page for that.
Gotcha.
Our cats are very cute, Alicia. Check them out.
Wait, our cats?
Yes.
Okay.
Bringing up your cat's picture. Look at that.
That's Jackson. He never remembers to put his tongue away.
Yeah, it's so cute. I used to like take pictures of my cats. Like they used to do it, especially when they were kittens. They would be like that, and I I love seeing their little teeth and their little tongue, and they're just, oh, nothing like cats and kittens.
Ironically, he never did it as a kitten. He started like around 8 months old, and his tongue hasn't been back in his mouth since, and he's 5.5 now.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
He's my little special needs guy. He's a train wreck.
He's
He's the sweetest of the bunch.
oh, he's gorgeous too. Holy crap. Like cats are just so into themselves and full of love. Like look at him. Just look at him.
He's magnificent.
Isn't he though? It's not just me, right? Like they're just crazy cute.
They are.
Well, if there are no questions, then I'll end this for today. Are there any last minute questions? All
I'll
right.
ask one.
Uh-oh. Go for it.
Moon, what would you say is like your number one tip for on page? If you could only do one thing, what would it be?
Okay, so I have many tips for on page, and having to choose just one is the hard.
You get one. If you had 1 hour to spend and you could only do one task, what would it be?
Content optimization. Content optimization.
Way to try to squeeze in two.
This physically hurts to choose one. I would say content, right? Like Google has focused so much on content, context, understanding what like the differences between apples we eat and the company Apple, right? Like all these updates are gearing towards helpful content update. I would really pay attention to content.
Oh, you just opened the door to entities, girl.
I know. We'll hold another. I know. As I was doing this, I was like, oh no. Could be a couple more hours, but we'll do a separate thing on that because that's a whole different interesting thing in itself that we could just go on forever. Well, what's your number one on-page SEO tip then?
Oof.
Yeah, and you can't steal mine now, so you're in it.
I'm going to say title tags.
Oh, that's a good one. They're absolutely super important. Super important. And especially from the GBP, the categories and stuff, like what you were going over. Homepage wrapping the categories in H2 and then H1 on their own pages.
Yeah, I'm going to say, like, I mean, SEO titles and metas are important and are a good tool also, but Google also can overwrite what you suggest.
Yes.
So you have limited control there. But Google can't change your title tags or can't change your content.
That's true. Google's turning into such a bastard.
Really? Like Google needs to stay in its damn lane.
Google's a bastard. Are we even gonna be able to do SEO in another 5 years, or is it just gonna take what we say and do whatever with it?
Oh, between now and 5 years, there'll be how many? Should we have an over/under for how many SEO is dead posts we see?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well,
but it does bring up an interesting point, though, and it's something I've always been very passionate about. Is like, as an SEO, it's really important to understand why you're doing something, not just doing it to check off a green light on Yoast or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we know the algorithm is going to change, and lately that could be 3 days from now the algorithm is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand why you're doing something, you're going to be able to pivot and work with any algorithm update that comes down the road. If you are stagnant in your education with SEO, or you are just doing something by rote because you want to turn the light green in a plugin, then yep, SEO is going to be dead for you real quick.
It is. It used to be super easy. You could do it with your eyes closed, but now you have to understand the whys. So if you're a curious person, this is a good field for you, because understanding the whys has become extremely important. Why you're doing what you're doing, right? And why did a website tank? Why was it rewarded? What this update is about, right? Like it's become pretty complex. So you really do have to love it to do well with it. You know what I mean?
And back in the day, there were only like 2 major algorithm updates a year.
Oh my god!
Now it's like there's 2 a week.
Take me back to my youth.
I know, right?
Take me back. I'd be a millionaire today. I thought things were tough back then, kinda, but like had I known what was coming, we would have banked out back then. You know what I mean? Like you want to talk about tough? Stop crying. But I guess we could say that in another 5 years, looking back, like we thought this was tough. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is.
I couldn't even venture to guess like how many names I've seen come and go, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's a lot of people who just are basically glorified salespeople. You know, they buy into a third-party service and they sell it, like social media management. There were so many of those companies.
Yep.
And the quote-unquote SEOs who were selling it didn't know anything about how to actually do social media management.
Yep.
And you don't see them anymore. You don't even see the companies anymore. Those come and go like every other month.
Yeah, these updates are pretty much gonna weed out people like that in this. With that said, I definitely need my bathroom break. So I'm gonna hit an end to this. But it is so awesome to see people stick it to the end and ask us questions. I think the Q&A was the best part, if I'm being honest, and I can't wait to put it up in our groups.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you guys so much. There were quite a few people who had said yes who were not able to make it, but I think the smaller, more intimate group was awesome,
Yes.
and you guys brought like some awesome questions to the table, and thank you for that. And this won't be a one-time thing. We talked about making it with some kind of frequency.
Yeah, we'll have to establish that for sure. But yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. We got clappy hands by Nathan up there.
We love clappy hands.
thank you.
Yes, and thank you for showing up, Lady Pips and Pat and Nathan.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Same, same. All right, I'm gonna hit stop and do other things with this.